The question that Kevin is proposing is to be public safety director, but that has only to do with rescue or OEM. I'm not sure. Can you, because I did not hear what you said. Kevin, could you speak up and?
Yeah, basically, it would be across the board how I've been working things through the years. Every year, like I said, 4th of July.
Why don't you turn that mic on?
Right.
I think will my turn. Oh,
Yeah. Can you hear me, Mayor?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. But I got the
Right
microphone.
now.
You can hear me now?
Yes, sit close.
Yeah.
do you want to see?
Can you hear me now?
Somewhat, yes.
So, anyway, we've been working on this for quite some time, and each year I sit down with the 4th of July committee, I sit down with the state police, the rescue squads, the fire companies, the CERT teams, the cherry wheel repeaters, on how we're going to close roads down and how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that, handle the 4th of July parade. Also, as you know, right, Sam?
Right.
We talk quite a bit.
Yeah.
Also, townwide yard sales out, I'm going around making sure the streets are closed and stuff like that. I deal with the state police all the time on the phone, getting calls. I do also think that I'm doing these things underneath the fire department, and it's really not the fire chief's job and stuff like that. So
And the other fire chief would not be doing it.
yes, and the other fire chiefs would not be doing that. We do, we are in charge of the fire and rescue within the borough. We do contract 36 Rescue, which is the old Clinton Rescue, which is covers us in the town for BLS services, which is basic life support. I am working with them back and forth, talking to them. Karen has questions, I talk to them and stuff like that. And they are like a subcontractor. They subcontract to the borough and stuff like that. And just somebody to be a point of charge and what's going on here safety-wise in the borough. The other day there was some issues with some signs. I talked to Karen and stuff like that all the time. So it's just something where it's not going to fall back on the fire department. I am the fire chief in town. I am a borough official, and I just think that should be the next step. That's all.
Right, so I appreciate your input. So I unfortunately am not at the meeting, so I can't go through the discussion with my peers. But I am one of two mindsets. We can table this until next month. But I am not of the mindset as the chair of public safety to move forward with with what you're proposing. So we can table the discussion until next month, wherein during the intervening period of time, council can discuss it. But I don't feel it's appropriate to move forward this month.
Well, as you, as the chair of the public safety committee and stuff like that, that's not gonna take away, I'm not gonna take away from what you do here with the town. This is stuff that I do.
Has no bearing on what you're proposing.
Okay.
Other than the fact that, I swore an oath and was elected to lead the public safety committee. So my suggestion to my peers on council is that we table the discussion until next month. And during the intervening period of time, we can, as a governing body, discuss it and come to a resolution as a combined group, fully informed.
Kevin, I want to say I agree with Mary at the moment. And, I think that we need a little bit more time to review that, we did get the documentation, this is important. And Mary, I'd recommend that the full public safety committee, you, me, and Joe all get together to have this, or, I'm sorry, Jim, sorry, get together to discuss this, maybe with Kevin to get some more information, because this is significant, and it's new, and it's very important. I think it needs definitely more vetting, in addition to the logistics.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm just hearing about it for the first time tonight, for today.
It's a good idea.
But just to clarify, because it says duties of the fire chief, it's really, that's not what it is.
Well, no, understand, this is a
fire chief ordinance.
I see what you're saying. So what you're
It
doing is
is not a
dividing.
public safety
I
ordinance,
see the distinction.
and it's not all the other things that the fire department does.
Gotcha.
It's simply a recognition in the whereas clauses that the fire department has a special relationship with the borough in which they provide a whole gamut of types of help. And in response to that, the borough each year donates to the fire company, considers their budget request, makes special consideration and allocations for equipment and apparatus. And this simply, from what I understood the purpose of this ordinance to be, that was to put in writing those things that the chief of police, the fire chief was going to provide or be responsible for. It has nothing to do with all those other things. So this is a, quote, fire chief ordinance. It is not anything else any other thing.
So is this mandated, I'm sorry, I was gonna say, is this mandated by the state to have this ordinance, or is this something?
No, it's not an order.
Right.
Joe?
I'm sorry.
Joe, it actually documents, expectation of the governing body and reciprocal partnership.
Right.
With the fire company.
That's correct.
Also is a historical representation of a mutual relationship.
Correct.
What's expected in both parties.
Correct. It is, and to answer your question, Marlene, no, it is not mandated as such by the state. However, if you take a look at the statute, which I provided to you, it establishes clearly that the fire chief shall set the scope of a fire line and have the sole authority and control within that fire line area in the municipality. So that's important to understand. It also, I tagged it on to our prior ordinance, and that ordinance recognized the fact, or designated, if you will, that the Lebanon Fire Company, Inc. was the primary fire organization in the Borough of Lebanon, and it established also that they have emergency operation plans. They key in with the Office of Emergency Management, both for the county and state. They carry out their duties under those guidelines, that those guidelines provide for specific duties for fire chiefs. And in carrying out the responsibility as chief, obviously those must be upheld also. So it's just a recognition, it's a tag on to a 2007 ordinance. It's expanding that ordinance to provide more clarity and more definition for the fire chief's responsibilities.
Which I think is a great idea. It's just there's a lot of requirements in their reporting for you, Kevin. You must be at every meeting, you have to give a report on every, which, you know, we do get that, but it does put a lot of.
And if, as I walked in this evening, I saw this big red vehicle parked out front. It said chief, and on the side it said fire command. And that's absolutely correct. Fire chief, fire command. Now, when we get into all this other stuff of motor vehicle accidents, emergency responses, establishing the parameters for sale days in the Borough of Lebanon, the conducting of Lebanon Borough Parade, Santa Claus coming down the main street. Those are all ancillary, and that's the special part of the relationship between the fire company and the borough. And if there needs to be control there, then that might be the area of a public safety director, or it might be the area of the borough administrator too. So, but that should definitely be looked at. But this is a fire chief ordinance. Understand that.
I mean, from my perspective, just from doing, going through codification, there's quite a few of our ordinances that are outdated, this being one of them.
2007.
Yes, exactly, 2007. I mean, I look at this as two different issues. The ordinance in which Joe and Mary and I put together still needs to be, in my opinion, needs to be introduced, if not at this meeting, the next meeting. What Kevin is proposing is something that can be done, as part of the reorg agenda, as part of appointments per se, where, you know, that position is established, it has to be established, it has to be defined, and it really can be, correct me if I'm wrong, but it really can be a resolution every year, or it could be part of an ordinance.
The appointment to the position would be by resolution, but
Exactly.
the parameters of the position
Would be the ordinance.
should be established by
Right.
ordinance. And typically, you have public safety directors in police departments where
gonna
the
say,
chain of
Lebanon-
command is
Right,
a
Lebanon's a
problem.
little bit unique, because we,
Right.
you know, we don't
Yes,
really have
this would
that
be
direct control, so
very
it's-
different.
And that was the issue with the name and
Yeah,
whatever.
so Karen, I can speak to that specifically, so. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
So when I did the research and the extensive meetings regarding the New Jersey State Police contract, the discussion regarding public safety director was something that was quite extensive. It is, I appreciate your presenting that it can be passed as a resolution for capacity, right? Traditionally, as Joe had stated, that is not the case. So and that's why I want time to research it. It's my understanding, unless something's changed, that under state statute, that would not be the case. There's an expectation of such a title in capacity under state statute, and that is exactly what has to be researched. So if everyone would permit me the time, I can do that, present it to Joe and the Public Safety Committee, and we can reach back for further dialogue.
I would also say, take the title out of the equation.
Mhm.
Let's not talk about the title, let's talk about the duties.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Okay, the title doesn't matter,
Right,
right? So if we're asking for somebody to perform these activities in support of the rest of the council and the borough administration,
right.
what would they be? That's what we have to think about,
Right.
nothing else.
Right.
To various businesses, didn't know there's 96 businesses in Lebanon, did you? And pass that around. So that's the bag that we decided to go with, from the samples we got. It seems to be the most sturdiest, and the straps go all the way down the sides. It's a good size. We did get so far about,
We collected $2,800 from 14 individuals.
no, we're up to 3350 from, I think, 15, because there was one that came in today. But, so just number-wise, in order to, I think the optimum thing is to get at least 1,400, to give at least 2 per resident, 2 bags per resident, not resident.
Per household.
Per household, thank you.
That made it easier.
So we're at, with the 3350, the total to get, it's gonna be with the printing, and so they'll be printed with the town logo on one side and, the donors on the other side. So it should look pretty cool, and, it'll cost us about,
You donated?
just about $4,000 to get them, and we're at about 3350. So we're trying to do some last minute, reach out to see if we can get a couple more businesses to donate. But I would suggest we, you know, if it's okay with council, I'd like to make up that difference with the town if we can, so that we can get to the 1,400 in order to get, I think it makes sense to have them done. Even though there's a good chance, you know, those households, all 700 of them, because there's actually more than 700, may not show up to get their bags, but, you know, I'd rather be, or the other thing we could do is just say, hey, first come, first serve, but I'd rather not do that.
We could just go to 1 and have them buy the second.
Yeah, I think 2 is a better number personally, but I'm okay with that, you know.
I mean, you could have them available, more available, if people want to buy more.
Well, then we'd have to buy them, then we'd have to print them, so.
When does it go into effect?
May
This-
1st.
May 4th.
Karen, we can help, or Jim, we can help distribute in the firehouse with the guys and stuff like that, if you want to go door to door or whatever, it's up to you.
Yeah, we were thinking of trying to keep it.
I need to make sure everybody's a resident.
Right.
Oh.
So, yeah, kind of keeping a master list and then having someone come in and sort of just check it off, keeping it simple, you know, so.
I was thinking, Sam, we could set up a table at 4th of July. So if for the people who are stragglers, sort of speak.
Get a couple volunteers for that.
Is everybody okay with that? So, well, I mean, of course, we'll try to get the additional monies through additional donations, but I'd like to at least come up with, you know, so it's about $787 that we would need, and I think we could probably get that money from someplace if we need to make up the difference, so.
It's 787 for Hunterdon.
That would be enough to get us to 1,400, so.
So Jim, my understanding was there, like the front doors in town,